Welcome back to this ministry in the wilderness. Today in our gospel from Luke, we hear of the healing of 10 lepers. Jesus healed the lepers, often it seems, and while leprosy was quite common, it was a term for most skin ailments, including acne. It did, however, drive people from their communities, and Jesus' healing was usually about restoring people to their communities, not just their health. Our hymn today, again, I think we've done this before, is Immortal Invisible, number 423 in your 1982 hymnal. Immortal, invisible, God only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty victorious, thy great name we praise. Unresting, unhasting, as silent as light, nor wanting, nor wasting, thou rulest in might. Thy justice like mountains, high soaring above, thy clouds which are fountains of goodness and love. A reading from Luke, chapter 17, verses 11 through 19. On the way to Jerusalem, Jesus was going through a region between Samaria and Galilee. As he entered a village, 10 lepers approached him, keeping their distance. They called out, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were made clean. Then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. He prostrated himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus asked, "Were not 10 made clean? But the other 9, where are they? Was none of them found to return to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Get up and go on your way. Your faith has made you well." A good portion of Luke's gospels are about Jesus healing in some fashion or another. Here is not an exception. Although it does seem that in addition to bringing the good news about God's kingdom being manifest, blessings for those that society didn't seem to bless, all of society all of the Gospels spoke of Jesus' healing. Luke was just known for it more. He restored people to their community. Restoring their health and their lives meant they had room in their lives for God. Not all took advantage of that gift, as we see in today's message from Luke. Jesus is walking to Jerusalem from Galilee, and a group of lepers calls out to him. Now, it wouldn't be unusual. These men would have been ostracized and without resources and needing to group together, separate from the community, but together with people of their own condition. And they would have noticed that the disciples and Jesus were Galilean by their garb. They recognized Jesus, the itinerant healer, and they call out to him. Now, Jesus doesn't go over to them. He tells them to report to the priests, who could verify that they were healed, and more importantly, that they were now clean from a community standpoint, and were able then to resume their lives, to join the community. And one of the 10, a Samaritan, who though a follower of Yahweh was not a temple Jew and therefore despised by the Jews from Judea and Galilee, he was present enough in this experience that he had just had of his healing to be instantly grateful. And also to realize that he had been, in essence, touched by the divine, touched by God. And so returns to Jesus prostrates himself and glorifies God. This foreigner, although he probably was in his home country if Jesus was making the trip from Galilee to Judea, had the presence of mind to understand his experience. The others, while probably grateful in their own way, did not see or feel the touch of God in their healing. And so Jesus uses this as a teaching moment for his followers. He did not say, "You're welcome, I have healed you." No, he acknowledged that the Samaritan's healing was divine. Now, Jesus, throughout his ministry, asked those around him to see the presence of God in their midst, to understand that the kingdom was all around, to acknowledge that and see from whence all the blessings flowed. He gave glory to the source, the creator, and was conscious of God at work in his life and in all the world. He rejoiced when others felt it too. And in those moments, those people were saved. They experienced salvation, which is connection to God. The 9 had the same healing, but missed the opportunity to understand the meaning behind their healing. And he also had to point it out to his disciples, reminding all around that they needn't need to be Jews. They didn't have to be Jews, technically, to know that connection to God, to know that God was at work in their lives. We, unfortunately, treat people of other faiths and religious traditions as Samaritans. They are not welcome or capable of experiencing the love of God, or so our dogma states. And this isn't just true of Christians, but of most major faiths, I'm sad to say. When we deny the true experiences of the divine, we fail to see God's love expressed in all the world. And this is limiting, not for the people who experience God, but for us. We are witnesses to the actions in today's gospel. It's like we are standing back from Jesus and the disciples having this interaction with the lepers. Do we see how those who are of the one true faith are the ones that experience God? And they're not the chosen ones, but they can know God. Can we see that the one in today's story who are of the right religion, the non-Samaritans, missed the true blessing of the healing? Our hymn today, immortal, invisible, God only wise. God is invisible only as we fail to see God in our lives day in and day out. Just like the 9. Just like the disciples who continued to look at Jesus and not what Jesus' actions pointed to as the message. They then missed experiencing God, real, present, now. And when you don't or can't see God, when God is invisible, faith is hard. Belief is hard. Loving unconditionally is hard. Or at least in our case is harder. Imagine seeing the divine in all of life. Seeing the power of forgiveness in reality. The grace in helping. Seeing that. Where God is no longer invisible. God's self in an act of mercy. Perhaps even done by you. Seeing God in what you do. Miracles are witnessed when we are present for them. They happen all the time, all around us. Love happens all the time, all around us. And we are given the choice to see and know God in these moments. God is there regardless. Faith is in that salvation. Faith is salvation. It will heal a broken body. It will restore a community, even our souls. What good news is that? That God is present in our lives. What good news is that? Don't you think? Amen. As usual, if you have found this homily beneficial, make sure to like and subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below. I pray that this endeavor will be meaningful to you and that you will share your journey with others. We may exist in the wilderness, but we are not alone here. Rest assured. Leave a comment if you want, and come on back to this channel in the wilderness. I remain yours in faith. Until next time, blessings to you all.